Frank, do you subscribe to the Happy Pill on YouTube?
I do.
You do? Do you hit the like button when you see like good videos that are really useful?
Smash that like button.
Yeah. And like if you have like friends, if you have any friends who could like really use these important critical jiu-jitsu Happy Pill details, do you like share the link with those friends?
I do, actually.
Yo, be like Frank, like, share, subscribe.
Because this is where we had left off. I was describing this arm drag, right? Where you came from the outside and you start pressing this hand down and then you shot this through, and I explained this whole detail about how you come back and how you rail yourself in and out off of these toe hooks. So I explained the whole set, but sometimes what's gonna happen is you can't grab that hand and you start reaching and he keeps putting his hands here. And now I can't grab his hand, okay? So I still want to be able to hand fight, but my gripping position is different. And now, the one thing I told you last time about this grip, it's not really physical strength or speed, because if I'm pushing and pulling, I'm affecting the shoulder rotation and the arm that I really never needed to grab anything. I could just do it by counter pressure, and he has a hard time getting his arm back because he can't activate the lat. I'm flaring the deltoid line. Very difficult for him to get his back. But obviously I am going to grab, okay? But then now this runs into a different problem on this side. He keeps grabbing my biceps and I'm trying to heist him up in the air to attack his legs. And this is how we keep going down with this. And I can't get him up in the air. But this is the only way I'm going to be able to hand fight now. So this hand, we're going to ask Ethan to bring this hand. This hand's going to loop underneath, and I need you to do a couple of things at this point. I know you want to get around here, but you got to do a couple of things for me. The moment you grab onto this, okay, I'm almost doing like a Russian, how I would do from here. I would snap and turn. I'm doing the same thing, but you're gonna have to be, you can't pause at this point because you're gonna lose the arm. So if I'm like this, right, and now I turn and I lean back to clear my hand, I can't stay here because he's gonna activate and pull this lat muscle back. So as he's pulling back, I gotta follow. If he knows nothing, that's not real. If he knows nothing, obviously, you know what I'm gonna do? I'll hold his hand, put my foot on his hip, and throw a triangle up and post it on Instagram. That's really what I'm gonna do, because it's just, okay, he's gonna stay there, I get it. Okay, so the reason I'm gonna ask you to do it like this, right? So you're like this, and don't give him too much. I want you to drill it with speed, because you gotta go 1, 2, 3, right? So you gotta start doing this quick. You go, oh, I'm going back and forth, back and forth. Top player, not too much resistance. It's a great arm drag. I don't really go on Instagram too much, but I did post a video that Johnny and I were rolling maybe about 15 or 17 years ago. And in the video, he shows me this move, where you come here and now you're like this with this arm, right? And he's yanking it back, right? And I'm burying it and taking my legs out and coming up on a double or wrestling up on a move. It's in that video. It was about 17 years ago. So you can see how you compare it with other stuff. You obviously can attack. So if you're really a good gripper and he's having a problem, you obviously can lean back and throw this up. So I'm not opposed to you doing it. I'm just saying, hey, I need you to drill it this way. I need you to get into this habit that you're grabbing on. I'm leaning back as I peel and I own the arm like this. So I'm learning how to come right back into the pocket. I'm on my arm drag. If you want to reach over his back and lift him up, I'm fine with that also. We went over a bunch of different things over the last about week and a half off of this sequence. There's a lot more to add to it, okay? So let's partner up with the drill right now. Let's do it. Like this, touching it. I'm not taking this hand. I'll do it from both sides. I'm not taking this hand and doing this, okay? This is not Karate Kid, okay? Just kidding, right? Wax on, wax off, right? His hands are like this. I'm grabbing his hand. I can always move my hand anywhere I want on this side. I'm just grabbing his hand. And now I'm peeling it, but he has an issue that when I start turning my shoulder line this way, now I don't know how this is gonna go down. Maybe I can hold it and pause it, but if he takes it back on me, I'm up also, right? So now we can start pairing them too, that I'm coming right in if you yank it back. But if I can capture the elbow as it comes through the turn and it's right here for me, I'm gonna make this transfer up on it because I have an opportunity and it's gonna be about you reading it. I can't tell you when to go because you're like this and now you just made this turn. And now I'm like, damn, I got access to this thing right now. That's really what I wanted. And I go, boom, I'm buried behind it. And now I can start the process of going to this hip, this knee, ankle, this top shoulder line. I don't know. I have no idea what he's going to do on the next reaction. I don't know if he's going to hunker back. I don't know if he's going to come forward on me. I don't know. And I don't know how big he is right now. So I don't know if I'm going to reach for the lat, or if he's small, I may be able to grab onto the back hip. I don't know. But let's do it correctly, right? So if you don't start drilling, if you just keep doing this to me, right, then you're going to tell me going live, you're going to do this and clear yourself and get access there. No, you're not. You're not. So drill it correctly, please. Let's do it. Everything exactly the same. Just you did everything exactly the same. You brought this arm over. You're like this. You shot in, and now, but he pulls in also. So you're like this, and he pulls in also. No, pull it back. And you're like this, and you just came in, but you didn't do either one, right? We didn't transfer. We don't have access to the back of this tricep like we did before. So this is totally different. Before I was like this, and I was clearing, and I saw a straight line to get here, and I'll go burying tight, and now I got my first wedge point behind the deltoid line. All great, but not on this one, right? I went like this, and I go, huh, and he rips back, and I'm like this. And I did neither one other than hold this, and now I'm so tight that I can't get my legs out. The only thing I'm going to do different now at this point is just lace this through and grab on, and now I'm going to go wrist to wrist on both of my grips. So I'm owning this arm just like this. So I told you why this happened. I couldn't get this turn because when he pulled back, I went with him. I wasn't going to let go of the arm, right? The only thing I got was this. I made this turn. I was like this, and he rips back, and I'm like this. And I go, damn, this happens really fast. So right away, I shoot my arm through, and I start grabbing onto my own wrist so that I can hold on to this arm without letting it go. The only thing I'm going to do now is get him on top of me. And I really want him on top of me. I'm not saying to lay down and have him at this point. I'm telling you, I want his head higher than mine towards that wall. So the further I can get him up, the easier it is for me to throw him or re-attack his legs to the back side. Like if I need a submission, I can go to X. I could do a lot of other things from there if I don't get the opportunity to dump him over. I'm asking you, I'll take any one. I'm not going to pin you on anyone. I just showed you a reap. I could show you X guard. I could show you how to just dump him over if you want. So if you're like this on this position, come with me. I'll just take you with me, right? And if you just want to dump him over, I'm just going to reverse this way. So if you just want to dump him over and come up on top of him, I'm fine with that also. But the essence of it is I want you to be able to combine the three. Only thing you did was this. What you see after this, you don't know. Are you on the outside of the tricep? Do you have access to it? Did he shoot you so far up when you were getting pulled up this way on this turn? You're getting pulled up and I get pulled. I'm behind this tricep now. I do have my Y wedge point too, right? I did have my Y wedge that if for some reason I'm so tight now that I got a Y wedge with a body line behind that deltoid, I can do a lot of stuff with this hand now. Right? I can start dragging it through. I can start hiking him up. I can wrap a guillotine over the top depending on his height level. So there's a lot of things I could do at that point. So let's start and let's see if we can combine the three to end the class. So right now we'll do the third one where you can decide what you want to do. If you want to bring him up to a reap, you can bring him to an X guard, you can dump him up, let you pick, as long as you give me the pattern the same exact way that we've been doing. Okay guys, let's partner up please. To get behind his tricep and advance his position, all you have is this grip right here. Hopefully he's not too wet. Most of the time you can stabilize and hold this as he comes back. Because even if I didn't have this grip and Nathan pulled me back, I'm staying behind his tricep. So I most likely will get in that pocket as we come forward. Okay, but this is where I am. And Nathan pulls back, so I take my legs out and hold his position on him. Okay, I am going to drive in. I'm going to ask you, normally I would come out this way, normally. My kneecaps are messed up, so I come out opposite. I would prefer to come up this way because when I bury it this way, I want to own this arm and get to this seatbelt on this back side. But I have problems with my knees. One knee's really bad, so it's hard for me to come out the correct way. I'm showing it from both sides, so I'll show it from this side. I'm here, okay? And now I go peel it off the top. I'm like this. I'll peel it off the top. And now I take these legs out, and this is what I would be looking like. Okay, try your best when you're doing it. If you do it live in class, try not to drive straight back. If a person isn't too flexible, you can really hurt their kneecaps. Do your best to just clear onto this side so he goes over the calf muscle. Okay, do your best on that. Off at the highest level. If you're gonna learn how to do it, it is a movement move. Like you're not gonna, bigger guys can muscle a person into it. But if you're a smaller person trying to pull it off, you got to start learning how to feel that movement. They rip back, I follow, right? I had pulled back, he's stuck, I advanced my position. Maybe on the pullback, he did all the work. I come like this, and as he's pulling back, I go, oh, I'm up in the pocket, and now I'm lifting and hiking and throwing up. But he did everything, right? Whether I do it for myself from here and grab, or he pulls me back, I just started with this. But I got to be able to follow. And if you're good, how I told you the other day, if you're good at that rail system, you would have had this working with that. So you're coming in like a rocket hard, that you have a high probability to get good access to something with this hand on the backside. So that's all you could do is try to fight for best position. Okay, let's do it and let's practice it. Let's rock a cow hand on him, that he's going to throw his shoulder forward because it hurts, right? That's what I'd love to do. But I see people just going, like just thinking they're going to push it off this way and then bring it across. Like, no, I'm pressing it super hard down, and you can see it hurts, right? And that's really, I'm looking at you, but going live, like I'm going, I'm trying to hurt him, right? Because I want him to throw that shoulder through the pocket for me. So if I was going, okay, that shoulder's clearing now, I want to hurt him. You know, unfortunately, like I want to inflict pain because, so that he makes a bad reaction. So that hand position is important where you're putting it. Just don't randomly put it on his forearm and think, no, I want to bend this thing back. That when he bent, I throw my shoulder forward. And now that advances the positions on the drags, okay? I'm going to ask you now, we did 2 variations. Now we did the one this way, and we did the one where I said you shouldn't have to have physical hold. So I just want you to get, because next week we'll do more counters when this leg comes up off the drag. But for now, before we get there, I said this earlier, I don't care if you want your arm bars, back takes, like I watched BJJ this past weekend, not the pros and the amateur. I mean, without a grip, nothing happens. Nothing happens. So if you can't win this fight, forget about all your other games. You're like this, and I said, hey, I pushed his hand down, and I shot this through, and I'm just getting comfortable the same way. Coming back, pulling it through, understanding that I'm either going to make a Y wedge here, or if he's close, I'm going to reach. But I'm on this Y wedge. I hold this position so that I'm on the outside of the tricep. I use this hamstring and that heel to make this turn and be able to clear this. Now I'm right here. So I'm going to ask you to do both. Okay, you did one this way and then one like this where it's a little bit more speed and turn. So I'm here. I'm collapsing hard. I'm making him clear. I'm making that transfer. My leg's coming out and I'm in the same position again. So I'm just learning how to get here. Okay, guys, let's partner up and do it for a few rounds. If you forget, go on Happy Pill. Those videos were non-stop on how we get behind here, how we insert, how we recover, hip flips, everything. So you should be really kind of coordinated if you read long. If you haven't, if I see all messed up, I'll be yelling at you. You don't watch the Happy Pill. Okay, guys, so let's do it.